Nostalgia, it can really affect your taste on something. It's not a bad thing by any means, but it can make things seem better than they actually are. Does the cloud of nostalgia affect the way that I'll perceive Street Sharks? Let's find out as I take a bite out of Street Sharks. I promise to keep the shark puns to a minimum. Street Sharks comes on 4 DVDs containing 40 episodes in the 4:3 aspect ratio, mirroring the original broadcast. Whatever masters they're using aren't exactly kept in good shape. Obviously, the show was animated in the 90s, so it's not going to look like something that just came out today, but most of the problems that pop up here seem to be sourced from the master, not the transfer. Again, most problems. There's still macro blocking, dot crawl banding, and disk read errors that I can replicate on multiple players, but not on my computer. Oddly. So your mileage may vary. You have a one-choice only stereo Dolby 2.0 track, which sounds very tinny and lacking in the LFE channel. Again, a show from the 90s, I'm not expecting a 5.1 Dolby True HD Dark Knight-esque track. But even by 90s standards for TV shows, this track doesn't hold up, say, next to Batman, or even something like Darkwing Duck. It's serviceable, and the transfer gets the job done, but it's nothing to write home about. Nostalgia is a powerful agent, but I personally never wanted to review something through the eyes of nostalgia, which makes this title a little difficult to review because this title was clearly not meant for someone like me. It's a good release of a show that came out when I was a kid, but I refuse to review the show through the rose-tinted glasses of nostalgia. Does this hold up? Will kids care today? I don't think so. It's silly, childish, and honestly, very poorly animated in portions. The characters don't really have much of a personality, but just one or two character traits that they focus on, and even I forgot which ones they were. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What's the show about? The evil Dr. Luther Paradigm has been using Dr. Robert Bolton's gene manipulation machine to create inhuman creatures, mostly involving sea creatures. Dr. Paradigm captures Bolton's 4 sons and turns them into shark-human hybrids. They find themselves transformed and able to eat many things like hot dog stands and cars, and just roll with it for a second. Because of the way they look, they're constantly thought of to be monsters by the public, and are in constant pursuit of the evil Dr. Paradigm's schemes. And that's what happens every week. The show is very episodic, and while it does have a continuity and a serial arc, you could probably just jump in and be able to follow along. Any episode, doesn't matter which one. So again, comes the question, does the show hold up? For me, and me alone, no. I did not get into this show. I was never a big fan of the show as a kid, and I thought the obvious references and digs at Ninja Turtles were somewhat spiteful, and I was not all that interested in the show. Does it have its moments? Yeah. It's a lot of action and adventure filled with that old 90s feel with random characters showing up and then leaving, like that whale ally kid. At the end of the 40 episodes, I was tired of the same shark puns and that overly repetitive theme song.
Shark attack! Oh, bro.
You better love the theme, by the way. Because that shows up. A lot. But I wanted a second opinion on this one, since the show wasn't for me. This release was not for me. So I sat my little cousin, who's 6 years old, and watched the show, and he had a good time. He genuinely enjoyed the show. For a couple of weeks, I kept hearing him say "Jawsome." I showed the show to a friend who was a fan of it, and he fell in love with it all over again. Though he admitted to me that if he was watching this for the first time, he'd probably be in the same boat as I'm in. So I'm clearly not the audience for this show. Who's it for? Fans who are nostalgic for the 90s cartoon and maybe still hold a soft spot for the Sharks. Or younger fans, apparently they can get into it too. But I have to give this release a score, and the score is coming from me and what I got out of it. It's not for me, but I highly suggest giving it a try anyways if you fall into those camps. Or know somebody who would enjoy the show, pick this up as a gift. This release doesn't really have much going for it other than nostalgia, which isn't a bad thing. There are plenty of things out there only released for nostalgia purposes, and you can do way worse than Street Sharks. The release is competent, but not mind-blowing and enjoyable for fans of the show. It even comes with an extra episode of Cops, for those of you that remember that show, as its sole extra. So, overall, this is the score I give it, and I alone. Now, there are people out there who are probably going to disagree with the score, but I can only give you my score and nobody else's. Thanks for sitting through our geeky review of Street Sharks. We hope you've enjoyed this review. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and our website is down below on the screen. So be sure to check those places out, and we hope to see you in the next geeky review. Thanks for watching.
Awesome!
What do we do, Laverne? Should we run?
I don't know, Sheila. They might be dangerous. But then again, that blue one is kinda cute.
What do you say, Laverne?
Anything you want me to. Tall, blue, and jawsome.
Then when I say 5 ultra humongos with quadruple shakes, all you have to say is yes.
Yes.
And could you throw in one of those toasters for good measure?
I like a shark with an appetite.
Just the way I like it.